Okay, I see how this works out. We can talk about that in a bit, but it's a best of 5 for now. And this guy, he's currently got the first game spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is Liquid's MaNa. And his opponent spawning up the top right-hand side of the map. It is InZaNe. Let me actually just respond to you in chat there. Yeah, so, anyway, yeah. We are going to have a Laser versus MaNa, which is a series a lot of guys were hyped for. That's a Polish clash once again. Thanks for tuning on in, guys. Make sure to leave a follow if you're enjoying the content. We got a lot more Starcraft 2 after this. I think the most hyped match of the day is going to be Thermal versus Rainer. That'll be a good match. MaNa versus a Laser will be good as well. But I mean, we're finishing out the groups today, to my knowledge, so we've got a fair few matches. If MaNa was... This is my question. If MaNa was going to face InZaNe regardless of his match versus a Laser, then the question is, does a Laser versus MaNa even matter as a series? Who knows? But InZaNe once again going for the Expo. Reaper on the way. MaNa being a little bit less of a nuisance this time. But yeah, I'm trying to think if, because like the winner of a Laser versus MaNa or the loser of a Laser versus MaNa would go on to face versus InZaNe, I guess, or maybe the winner. Because Thermal plays Rainer, who are both from high matches, so the winner of that advances, I believe. And the winner of a Laser versus MaNa plays a match to see if they advance. Okay, I think the way it'll work out is that the winner of a Laser versus MaNa doesn't have to play an extra match. So a Laser has to play 2 more matches, at least. Well, he's got to play versus MaNa, and then he's got to play another match after that. But if he beat MaNa, then he'd be done. But if he didn't, then he'd have to play 1 more in the round of 5. I think that's what's happening. Or I guess this, yeah, who knows, guys. This is a unique format, and I'm actually a very big fan of this tournament format. Now, I mean, InZaNe, this time he's actually going for a Cyclone, so showing a lot of respect to this push. MaNa poking and prodding, and no, he actually gets a Marine. That's not very good. Another Marine spilling forward. Gonna have to lift that mine once again as MaNa's gonna do a sneaky little trick. Gonna have to burrow that mine. Get the repair off, which is always good to see. Because, I mean, he lost 2 mines before. I think you need to repair it for full because MaNa's just gonna do the same, and it almost died last time. Oh, and MaNa successfully baits it out that time. Now there's the 3 Marines. Cyclone does pop out, though. Does help, but the mine gets picked off. Very well played by MaNa. A Raven's on the way for InZaNe, which is always interesting to see versus Protoss. MaNa getting up that 3rd base, getting out that Oracle. So it is looking to be the same build. 3rd base on the way for InZaNe too, so looking like a relatively standard TVP, but I mean, I guess the Raven can always disable that Oracle. But keep in mind, guys, to my knowledge, when a Raven disables an Oracle that has Pulsar Beam activated, it still just keeps shooting. And there's nothing that can be done about it. So now it's actually going to be double Oracle here for MaNa. He's going to get on in, going to pick off the first SCV, going to actually lock onto that Cyclone. Auto turret goes down, actually going to keep that Cyclone alive, which is very nice, but these Oracles now still in the mineral line, but not getting too much damage done. However, the natural is very exposed, and this is a time in which InZaNe was wishing that he had been able to keep that Widow Mine alive, because that could have been covering one of the bases. It looks like one of the oracles does go down, and actually a Widow Mine, I mean, he did make another Widow Mine, connects with the Phoenix, but 4 SCVs falling there. And now MaNa back at home. He's going into Resonating Glaives, which is interesting. The choice to go into Glaives, I'm not sure how I feel about that for MaNa, because from such a solid opening, just getting a bit of damage done with the oracles, just really keeping InZaNe pinned. If you were to tech into something like Colossus, I think InZaNe would have a tough time sort of matching up against that. But Resonating Glaives, there's always a chance, I feel. If you're a Terran with Stim, I feel as if you can always beat an army of Resonating Glaives Adepts, depending on the fight you take. Doing so without losses is tough, but the Mass Glaives does make me a little bit worried for MaNa. But, I mean, not like super worried or anything, it's an interesting choice in my opinion. So we'll see, but for all we know, he's going to move across the map with like 30 Adepts and destroy InZaNe. As MaNa is in a pretty decent situation. 3 base Glaive Adepts. Going to be very strong. 3rd base is moving out for InZaNe, but I mean, he's really got to be making a lot of army right now. He's getting out a reactor on the factory, which is important. If he makes a few mines, it will help him a ton versus these Adepts, but it looks like MaNa's planning a move out. There's no War Prism for MaNa just yet. We'll see if he starts one. But he's going to be coming on in for an attack. Looks like that Viking can't turn and fight that, but there's the tank there. Raven will be huge in defending this. And look at this, InZaNe showing so much respect. He's actually just going to lift off, and rightfully so, because look at all these Adepts that are heading in. He's now throwing up a bunker, which I like to see. But the Raven's going to be a huge help right now. Auto turrets will help out greatly. MaNa's coming on in. We'll see. There's an anti-armor missile. This is actually going to help the Marines so much. Stim is done. I think InZaNe should pursue this, because Adepts without armor will melt versus Marines. I think he should be poking out. Will he have another anti-armor missile? That's the question. You won't quite. He's going to be about 10 seconds out from it. And here comes MaNa once again. I mean, this is a lot of bio, like I said. InZaNe may be able to hold this. However, this is a lot of Adepts. Oh my god. Like, at first there was just that first round, but now there is so many Adepts popping out. I mean, InZaNe, he's lost 12 SCVs, but he still has a bit of bio. He's got another mine. That needs to burrow. Is it going to get picked off? Another mine coming out. Yeah, dare I say, InZaNe, he held this. He lost 14 SCVs, but that's, I'd say, in the acceptable losses terms. He should now salvage these bunkers, float over his 3rd immediately, and start pushing out across the map. He's going to have 1-1 versus MaNa. MaNa will also have 1-1 as well, but yeah. Actually, here comes reinforcements for MaNa. He may just actually make this happen. I mean, MaNa really still committing to this while technically Colossus behind this. Adept Shade does get cancelled, but War Prism going to ferry some into the main base. Natural now under fire. Marauders don't have too much damage versus these, so it will take him a while to clean this up. And now Adept's going to be getting into the main base here, and suddenly that 12 SCV loss could be getting a lot higher for InZaNe. It's looking pretty rough for him. I mean, he did a decent first hold, but MaNa just so relentless with this attack. And now he's doubling the worker count. He's now getting into Disruptors. He's getting into Blink. And he can always send in more Adepts. Okay. Looks like the Warp Prism did go down there, which is significant for InZaNe, but he's still not in a great spot. He's actually got a fantastic army. InZaNe does need to push out now. You're pushing out versus Disruptors, which will make this tough, but just, he's got like 20 or 30 army supply on MaNa, but that's not going to last as he's down on workers by a very significant margin, so he does need to push out. There is 2 Disruptors, but dare I say it's only 2 Disruptors. I mean, it's tough for Terran to micro. This is really going to be the test for InZaNe. All these Stalkers are out for MaNa. They want to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to buy time. Scan going down. No Disruptors out just yet. And here comes double Liberator harassment for InZaNe. Where are these set to queue up? Are they just going to go right over that? Yeah, they are double Liberators on that Nexus. MaNa, if he doesn't react quick, he will take losses, but right now there's this fight going down. But look at this. Double Liberator. Going to be picking off a decent number of workers. Will they get out? Stalker's going to be pursuing, but InZaNe, I mean, he can't fight this. The Disruptors are just a bit too much, but he may be forced to. I mean, if he can't take this fight now when MaNa's really maxing out. Oh, no, Disruptor. Massive, good, decent connection there, like 2 or 3 units. And that's worth it. Both those Liberators got out. I mean, Liberators buy time versus Disruptors. They make the Protoss play around them. It sort of forces the game into somewhat, or it slows the game down a bit. But InZaNe, I mean, I guess he wants to make something happen here, but this Protoss army, just these 2 Disruptors, so scary for the Terran. But actually, disabling those Disruptors with that, or Matrix there, gets both of them. Wow. I mean, sick play by InZaNe, disabling those Disruptors, diving on top of that army. MaNa had no choice but to recall. And there's actually no Disruptors for MaNa now, so InZaNe, he can push in. Look at all these mines he's got, too. I mean, yeah, this could actually work out fantastic for InZaNe, and now suddenly MaNa, the fact that he didn't tech into something stronger, I mean, this is pretty decent. I mean, InZaNe doesn't want to stim, but he's shuffling these mines forward. I think he should shuffle his Liberator forward. Another Disruptor is going to be coming forward right now, so he does have to respect that a lot, but another Liberator is going to help out greatly. He needs to be prepared for this Disruptor shot. Oh, takes a decent shot there, but not a game-ending one, that's for sure. InZaNe actually stimming forward. What? Just, okay, saying, I'm going for it. I mean, not staying in the safety of his mines and whatnot. And look at this, MaNa, very sick counterattack back at home. Got 12 SCVs while this was going on, really preventing InZaNe from attacking here. Now, Mine's getting good connections on the Adepts though, but another Disruptor coming out. InZaNe opting to pull back once again, and now maybe he can stim forward. I mean, there's just Stalkers, there's Immortals, so we'll see. InZaNe's rallying across the map. Dare I say, he may be able to take this map here versus MaNa. He's now teching into advanced ballistics, while he will be as he's getting up a fusion core. He's now consolidating his forces as well, and I mean, a Protoss with Stalkers is never comfortable versus a Terran with Liberators. InZaNe does need to get set up right now, though, as he's done a good job defending us. Okay, good micro there. I mean, it's got to be stressful for InZaNe to be doing that, but he's actually going to pick off that. Now it's like just Stalkers for MaNa. There is another Disruptor. InZaNe really needs to respect this. Is he going to peel off a unit? No, he just retreats. Another Disruptor is coming out, but InZaNe can now shuffle forward with these Liberators. This is, I mean, InZaNe, he's actually maybe going to make this happen. He's got upgrade advantages for now. I mean, Liberators don't care versus upgrade advantages. Stalkers blink forward, Disruptor shot going out, but a little too far back. Now going to force out another one. Good connection there, but Disruptor does go down, which is a nice pick-off. And should InZaNe go for the main base of MaNa? Should he just lift up and boost in? MaNa wants to micro here. He's really trying to dive on top of InZaNe, and he's picking off a good chunk of InZaNe's army. And this is that Disruptor Stalker value. And here goes InZaNe. He's now going for the main base. I was wondering if he was going to do this, but MaNa really anticipating this. But the drop, I mean, this is still a lot of Bio and Marauders, and there's not Disruptors. It's actually going to be a recall for MaNa. InZaNe going to opt to get out. Stalkers won't be able to pursue this, so InZaNe sort of buys a bit of time there. And while this has been going on, he has been getting up a 4th base. Did he research advanced ballistics? No, he hasn't just yet. I mean, he's got that extra starport, but he doesn't have the gas quite. Now, InZaNe, he's got a force moving down to the bottom right, and he killed off the 4th base of MaNa, and he actually expects this one to be there too, which is really good game sense for InZaNe. If he can cancel it, it would be huge. It's very important that he does. He's going in right now. Is he going to focus down this Nexus? He's going to get the pylon, but MaNa is going to be able to pursue this, and I think he'll be able to save this. Some probes may go down, which is nice for InZaNe. Actually going to get like 6 or 7, which is a very significant number. And now InZaNe moving forward, maybe looking for that other base, but MaNa didn't rebuild this. Even trading with the Stalkers, even getting 1 or 2 is nice. And now InZaNe moving forward, gonna get a Robo. InZaNe actually playing such a sick TVP right now. Now moving forward into the natural, I mean, this Disruptor is hot in pursuit. This Bio is very stimmed, so it may be a forfeit here, but he's still got a decent army. He's up on workers still. Oh, actually will lose all of these instead of trading. He actually just lost the army there, which is pretty unfortunate. And this may give MaNa the confidence he needs to move forward, but advanced ballistics now in the way, and Zane's got a planetary to solidify him here. The one thing I'm concerned about is that Disruptor count. It's now up to 5. Advanced ballistics will help out immensely versus those Disruptors, though. It really does zone them out. And I mean, upgrade-wise, I mean, InZaNe still is ahead. Liberator's getting set up. MaNa may want to try and blink underneath this. And he's actually going to get a good chunk of those Liberators right now. And MaNa actually just going for more of them. Fantastic micro, not losing too much there. And now there's 5 Disruptors here, and there's suddenly no Liberators to zone this. InZaNe needs to be making as many as he can. Disruptor doesn't get a good shot there, but there's plenty more where that came from. And this is where, I mean, eventually as the Disruptors stack up and up, it becomes so tough for the Terran to deal with. Liberators need to get set up. MaNa's going to go for it, but there's still no advanced ballistics just yet. I mean, and so many Disruptor shots can be thrown out. Liberator stays alive, but now MaNa is still sharking about. A drop going to be attempted for InZaNe. He's going to have more Liberators out while this is going on, though, but we'll see. I mean, MaNa's army isn't too scary. InZaNe's up on army supply. But I'm still so worried about those Disruptor shots for a Terran player. Nice counterattack, but Planetary does deal with that. Now, this drop is going to be very important for InZaNe. He's actually unloading it not in the best spot. He's going to unload directly into this. So MaNa going to sort of get a head start on dealing with this. But there's a big fight going down right now. InZaNe forced to retreat. He's got to stim away, but we'll see how much counter damage he can get done. There was a big Adept warping, but this is stim bio, which is pretty decent versus this. There is a DT warped in, though, to help deal with this. So MaNa keeps his base up and running. And InZaNe, I mean, he's still up on army supply. Oh, he must have lost a medivac. No, he actually lost the full medivac. I noticed the supply drop there. I mean, InZaNe, he's even getting up tanks, which are good versus Disruptors too. But he's lost a lot of medivacs. He's getting up a 5th base while getting up a 5th orbital. MaNa gonna be moving in on this. Not the best engagement there. Gonna get a good Disruptor shot. Oh, actually a fantastic one. So many meaty Disruptor shots there. And suddenly, MaNa getting that value. If you look at the resources lost, MaNa is still behind because he's just been engaging with gateway units, which are not cost efficient. But so far, I mean, InZaNe's patience this game, this is making me completely rethink him as a player. Like, the fact that he's surviving versus this MaNa, he's playing not the most common style, but this is still something that is relentless and tough to deal with as a Terran. Liberator's moving forward. MaNa diving up once again. Gonna trade off more Stalkers for a tank for another Liberator. He's sending out so many Disruptor shots right now, but good splits by InZaNe. It may be time for InZaNe to pursue this, but another Disruptor shot and another one. Oh man, so many connections there, but InZaNe actually trading with a lot of these Disruptors, picking some off. There's not that much on the ground for MaNa. Liberator's forcing them to be dealt with. Another Disruptor shot going out, getting tongue-tied there. That was a decent trade for InZaNe, and he thinned out the Disruptor count by a few, but there's still a lot for MaNa. But I mean, for a Terran, I feel as if it's a lot better if you are fighting in small numbers versus Disruptors as opposed to large numbers, because, I mean, the less you have in an army, the less there is to lose to the Disruptors, right? But now MaNa may want to engage this. We'll see InZaNe stepping forward. And, that Liberator actually eating a shot or two, but the Disruptor eating a Liberator shot. DT blocking this 5th base. Will need a scan to clean that up. Liberator's moving forward. I mean, MaNa's army is looking pretty scary right now. These Disruptors, MaNa's at that point in which he can just call them in non-stop. A Tempest now on the way is also going to help clean up with these. It's a bit of an odd way to attack. I mean, MaNa doesn't even have Storm and getting out Tempest, which is kind of odd for Protoss, but now Disruptors moving on in, gonna be able to take out that tank. They eat a shot, but still they managed to get that off there. And this is looking, I mean, InZaNe was playing a very good game. I think he may need to go for a counter drop or something once more. I mean, this base in the top left, MaNa's gotten away with it for a long time. Now MaNa's pushing up this ramp. Disruptor shots go up, but fantastic connections there. Just thinning out the army here. I think InZaNe needs to go for some more harassment or something along those lines. But MaNa's really keeping him busy. But yeah, he does need to go for something. He can't just keep being chipped away like this, because MaNa is gaining efficiency. He's so comfortable back at home. I mean, InZaNe hasn't been able to step on his side of the map for a long time. MaNa does step into some Liberator zones, which are going to get shots off, but not enough. I mean, and now once those Tempests really are out and join up with this army, it's going to be very tough. Adepts are going to shade on, and they will be cleaned up relatively quickly. But MaNa, I mean, he's comfortable to throw out units when he knows that he's just building up back at home. More barracks on the way for InZaNe, but when you're making barracks versus this sort of thing, I mean, more Marines isn't going to help you out versus Disruptors. InZane's getting up more Liberators. I mean, he wants to be able to push, and I mean, Liberators are what's keeping him alive in this game, but the lack of attacks at this base, I mean, it's relatively exposed. Tempest are going to be seen here. Alrighty. Looks like I may have lost connection there. Not sure about that. I do apologize, as we did seem to drop a little bit there. Alrighty, some Liberator harassment at this base. I'm loving that. But I mean, I feel as if that should have been done like 10 minutes ago or so. Okay. Disruptors once again set up, but now there's Tempest to deal with this. And InZaNe has waited so long, it's very tough to engage this army just because there is so many Disruptors. MaNa has no shortage of these Novas. I mean, he wants to be able to deal with these Tempests, but there's more and more shots coming out. I feel as if InZaNe like needs to pull SCVs to buffer or something with this. If you're gonna take the fight versus this army, he needs to bring all the Liberators, he needs to bring every unit he has, and just collapse on top of this army before MaNa can really micro the Disruptor shots. That's gotta be the only way that he can deal with this, and he wants to go for it, but I feel as if he needs to bring all these Liberators, just queue them up on the ground. MaNa, I mean, the army for InZaNe is better now, but he's gonna eat Disruptor shots no matter what, but getting chipped away and slowly eating them is not the way to deal with this. He just needs to force a fight. I mean, the Disruptor shots will be massive that MaNa will get, but there's still a chance that InZaNe can win out because MaNa's army is not that strong. It's just the Disruptors. So if Zane, say, pulls the SCVs, which I think he needs to do something like that, right? Because what he's doing right now, while he's surviving, it is not working. And now you can't sit back. InZaNe, I mean, I think he needs to scan, he needs to see this, he's got to say, right, once all the Disruptors are out of the equation, there's not too much to worry about. I mean, he's teched into Vikings, but you don't want to be going into the later late game versus MaNa. He's just going to be making more and more Tempest, and Zane's going for it. I mean, he's got a decent split right now, and this is what he needed. Liberator Zone's getting set up. Good fight for InZaNe right now. More Disruptors coming out, but so far he's doing a good job fighting back. Now there's not too many Novas left. Good shots coming out for MaNa, but I mean, there's not too much on the ground right now. Vikings trading with the Tempest. InZaNe kites back once again, but a lot of the Disruptors still stand. I mean, that was what InZaNe needed to do. He took a trade there, but I'm not sure it was enough. And now a big drop planned for InZaNe. He's actually heading south this time, and MaNa doesn't actually see that. So this could be a nice move for InZaNe, depending on where he drops. I mean, if he can, say, get the, I guess, 4th base and the 5th base, that would be huge. As both these guys, neither of them have been comfortably maxed out. InZaNe now floating over his main while this is going on as well. He's going to unload this army. He's going to be moving on in. He can snipe the Nexus. I mean, this base wasn't really mining yet, so it's not a massive blow to MaNa's economy, but shutting that down is really going to prevent MaNa from expanding now. And Disruptors are pretty slow as well, so MaNa going to be able to take a decent, or going to be able to clean this up, but Zane taking a decent trade right now. Although getting the Nexus really did make this worth it. The fight, not so much. Supplies now even, I'd like to see some more Liberator harassment for InZaNe, something like that. It's MaNa losing that base. I mean, his economy isn't that good. Okay. Vikings gonna clean this up, but now Storm's on the way. MaNa isn't gonna be leaning as heavily on those Disruptors. A single Adept getting some nice harassment done, but there's still plenty of Disruptors and Vikings, and I mean, AoE plus Tempest, it's one of the best compositions in the game for in TvP, and MaNa's doing a very good job. Like, I mean, it's tough not to lose all your Disruptors, not to just spam out all your shots, but he's been doing a good job of this so far. Now, InZaNe's the guy who's lost resources. I mean, he wants to go for a fight, but he can't push up this ramp. He's actually just going to opt for going for this base. He's going to need to scan to clean up this DT, who's now cleaving away at his units. So nice damage done there by InZaNe. Going to be able to get on top of this. No scan so far, but these DTs are really going to start doing their number. I mean, there's 3 DTs, and Zane does need to identify this, but disruptor shots, and now his army's not in a good spot. There we go. Scan goes down on the DTs, but they already got their damage done. So MaNa lost the base, and InZaNe has secured a fair few bases this game. I mean, he's on a better economy than MaNa, who's down to 47 workers. But dealing with the army of MaNa when there's this much AoE is going to be tough. There's a good number of Vikings, so the Tempest aren't a real threat. And I mean, there is just a Tempest now. But at the end of the day, it does come down to these Disruptors, and I think we need to see. There's a drop going down for InZaNe, which is nice to see. Lots of Liberators. Liberators need to get set up right now, force this army back. MaNa wants to force him off this base, though, and he very well can just do that. InZaNe forced to lift off right now. This drop is actually going to be everything for him, though. There's a DT and a High Templar, but there's actually not enough energy for a Storm just yet. So this could be a huge drop for InZaNe. He needs to scan, though, in order to clean up these DTs. He's kiting back, but MaNa may just have had enough defense, and this is InZaNe unloading onto these bases as opposed to dropping, say, a foot away from them and then going in. And now MaNa has forced him off one of his critical bases. He lost 16 SCVs while this is going on. And his drop, it's getting a decent trades versus these gateway units, but he needs to scan, needs to clean up the DTs, and he will. But now he may be able to get this base in the bottom right, which would be very nice. I mean, this is +3 bio, so it's able to put out a lot of damage versus this Nexus, and getting that's nice. It's stifling MaNa's economy. I mean, InZaNe's up on supply once again. A significant amount of army as well, but a lot of it's in the sky this time around. I guess there is only one Tempest, so Mass Disrupt or Mass Liberator could be the way to go about it again. I mean, there's Psystorm this time around, but it's tough for MaNa to manage this many spellcasters. This is a fantastic game. Alright, I mean, MaNa's coming on in. InZaNe being forced off the base once again, though, doesn't want to lose it, wants to keep it alive, but MaNa's actually backed into a corner right now. This could be InZaNe's moment. Look at this. MaNa is completely backed in. InZaNe just going to get these Liberators up. He needs to shuffle. InZaNe needs to go for that. This is his moment, I think. There's a fantastic Storm going down, but there's some Liberators getting set up. I mean, MaNa's completely backed in. I think he's going to need to recall, and he is. Now, this could be InZaNe's moment to get a better positioning. He's going to re-secure the base. Okay. He checks for the Nexus, but there's no Nexus there. And I mean, army supply is now equal, and Zane's lead is gone for the time being. MaNa's still not on a great economy, though, but his army certainly is better. Just the fact that he's got this, I mean, he's got the better composition. I mean, InZane's got the better army, but MaNa has the better composition, if that makes any sense. Like, InZane's army in a straight-up fight, it will destroy this of MaNa's, but the Tempest and the Disruptor combo is just so strong. Okay, and InZane getting up these Liberators once again, and I mean, this is a crazy game, guys. This is fantastic. Okay. I mean, there's the Vikings. I mean, it's not like this is a mass amount of Tempest. Getting that is nice. Loses a Viking, though. InZane just hasn't been able to clear MaNa out. There's some tanks set up, there's Liberators. MaNa going into this is going to cost him for sure. There's even Ghosts now out for InZane. He's going to land some of the Vikings. They tank the shots like heroes. I mean, there's so many Disruption Novas going out, though. Lots of Liberators, though. I think they just need to get on top of this army again. InZane, it's tough to go for it. MaNa's so respectful of this. He's got High Templar out. InZane wants to get out perfect EMPs before he goes in on this because of Psystorm's strength. And the High Templar are being kept back for MaNa. I mean, look at these Ghosts. They're waiting. But EMP does not disable Disruptors. Disruption Nova's going out, getting a nice pickoff or two. Liberator's going to land their shots once again, or want to get set up, want to inch forward. I mean, I think InZane does need to reposition some of these Liberators because the ground army is still not that strong. He wants to take the fight. MaNa's army, though, is now so scary. I mean, he's up on supply at this point, but it's still not that... just these Disruptors. MaNa has done a fantastic... How many kills do these Disruptors have? Oh my god, alright, but Zane's going for it. Liberator's getting set up on top of his army. He's forcing him back, but MaNa doing a good job kiting back once again versus his army. Liberator's getting set up, though. Ghosts in position, but a lot of the other Liberators are on siege, and there's not that much on the ground. So once again, look at this, these Disruptors getting out, and meanwhile there's a Zealot counterattack on this base, so InZane's economy is not winning out. Let's check the kill count on these Disruptors. 31 kills. 14 kills. 23 kills. Oh my god. And, like, MaNa, he hasn't lost that many disruptors this game. He's lost 13, but look at the units lost count, guys. InZane's lost 31 Liberators, 144 Marauders, and a good chunk of those were killed by this army. And now MaNa may just figure that he can go for it. InZaNe may have lost out Disruptor, so he's going to connect with what remains of the ground army. Super well played. I'm not sure if that was sarcasm or not, but MaNa manages to take it in a fantastic...